Hello students. So now second part of our story, the address. We have already read in the first part about Mrs. Dorling, and we have seen her behavior also, that she was not interested to meet the daughter of her friend. Okay, maybe she already knew it very well that the daughter has come. It means she has come to take back the things only, and she had already started using it because she was wearing green cardigan. Okay, and that's why she refused to meet the daughter. Daughter went back. Okay, she, because she could not do anything. Now we are starting with page number 12. Now daughter was, now we have already seen in the first video how this daughter got to know the address. It's not that the address was written and given deliberately to the daughter by mother. Just daughters asked that she lives far away, and that answer, in that answer only, this mother had given the address of Mrs. Darling. Now we start from here. I had remembered it. She said, when my mother, very casually, she told me the address, but I remembered the address. But I had waited a long time to go there. Now, when the war was over, it's not that immediately after the war, this daughter came to take back all those valuable things. She said, no, I had waited for a long time to go over there. Initially, after the liberation, I was absolutely not interested in all that stored stuff. She says, after the war, actually, initially, I was not interested to take back all those things which were having the memory of my mother. And naturally, I was also rather afraid of it. She said, rather, I was afraid of all those things because I knew it very well that all these things would be disturbing me because I have lost my mother, and maybe after watching all these things and surrounded by all those things which are having imprint of my mother, the memory of my mother, it would disturb me only. Afraid of being confronted with things that had belonged to a connection that no longer existed. So here only we get to know that no longer existed. That connection means mother is no more. And these things would be just taking me back to the memory of my mother only. Okay, which were hidden away in the cupboards and boxes and waiting in vain until they were put back in their place again. And she said, I was just thinking that all these things are maybe packed, still packed in the boxes only. And these things are kept in that lady's house. Okay, even maybe those things were also waiting that the owner should come back and take it back and open it and place it, okay, at the right place in that house only. She said, but I was initially not interested to go back and take all these things because maybe I knew it very well that these things would disturb me because these things carry the memory of my mother. Okay, which had endured all those years because they were things. Actually, she says that I was thinking that I know that maybe things were also waiting for the honor, true honor, right honor to come back because they were things only. That's why maybe nobody cared about that. But she said I was really not interested initially because I was thinking that those things would be giving me pain only. But gradually, everything became more normal again. Bread was getting to be a lighter color. There was a bed you could sleep in unthreatened. Now, but she said after a few months, maybe, or after a year or two, now things were again very normal. People had started forgetting about the wartime and the troubles and the traumas of war. And she said, even I was coming back to my normal self. And that's why one day I thought, why not to take back all those things? Okay, bread was getting to be lighter color. Now here bread was to be lighter color means now it was easy for everyone to get the bread because during wartime maybe it was not easy to get the bread and the eatables and food. Naturally, wartime everything is difficult. But now when bread lighter color means things were now normal. Everything was now available like before. Okay, bread was getting to be a lighter color, and there was a bed you could sleep in unthreatened. Now there was no threat. It's not that you are sleeping in home and you are thinking that maybe there could be a bombardment and maybe a bomb can fall down and maybe you may be dead, okay, while sleeping over here. No. Now she said there was no threat at all. A room with a view you were more used to glancing at each day. Okay, now the views were normal views, means nature, beautiful flowers. Okay, you know, clean, neat sky and everything. Because during the wartime, nobody is having that much time to look at the beauty. Okay, or to think about the beauty of nature, because everyone is at that time is trying to save himself or maybe hide himself. That this writer also, I told you that during the wartime she had to, hid herself somewhere. So now everything was normal. And one day I noticed I was curious about all the possessions that must still be at that address. And that's why she said, one day I suddenly realized I wanted all those things back. Though earlier I was not interested because I was thinking that these things will be giving me pain only. But now she said that suddenly I realized I wanted. I wanted all those things back in my house. Maybe that will be as if my mother would be back with me. Okay, so now I wanted to go to that address. I wanted to see them, touch, remember. So that's why she had gone to meet Mrs. Darling. After my first visit in vain to Mrs. Darling's house, I decided to try a second time. And that's why she said, when first time she refused to talk to me, I thought, no, I should go back again. So second time she went over there. Now a girl of about 15 opened the door to me. I asked her if her mother was at home. No, she said, my mother is doing an errand. Here, doing an errand means some small petty jobs when we do. This is called errand. So the mother had gone maybe to do some work. Okay, she was not at home. The daughter said, no, my mother is not at home. Okay, no matter. I will wait for her. And this time narrator said, this daughter said, no, no, no worry. I can wait for your mother. Because naturally last time mother had not opened the door and not allowed her to enter into the house. But this time it was daughter. That's why the daughter had no problem. She thought that this is a guest who wanted to meet her mother. That's why she welcomed her. I followed the girl along the passage. Okay. An old-fashioned iron Hanukkah candle holder hung next to a mirror. When she entered in the passage from the door, what she first thing she noticed, there was Hanukkah candle holder. Okay, she saw one candle holder hung next to a mirror. We never used it because it was much more cumbersome than a single candlestick. And immediately she recognized that candle holder. Okay, because she started thinking, my God, we had never used it because it's very heavy. Okay, it's not very easy to handle this heavy candle holder. So that's why they had never maybe used it, but here they had started using it. So she saw this first thing which these people had started using. Okay, though the first thing was cardigan, but maybe all the now this time when she entered, this was the first thing she saw, and it was clear that these people were using their belongings. Won't you sit down? Asked the girl. She had opened the door of a living room and I went inside past her. Then she opened one door of the living room, and she invited the this girl to narrator to come inside. She said, come and wait over here. Okay, my mother would be back after some time. So you can come and sit over here. I stopped, horrified. When she was about to enter the door, she said, I stopped. I was horrified. Why she was horrified? I was in a room I knew and did not know. Very important line. Underline this. I was in a room I knew and did not know. Because this line you may get as question also. Maybe you may be asked to explain this line. Okay. Now in what way? She knew this room and she did not know this room. She did not know this room. Why? Because really for the first time she had come to this house. So that's why she did not know anything about this room. But then next part, she knew this. Okay. Why she knew this room? Because actually in the room what she saw, the things which were put in this room, which were decorated in this room, actually these all things belonged to her. What they had done in this living room, they had decorated this living room with the antiques and all the things which this lady had taken from her house. And that's why she was familiar with each and everything, okay, which were kept in the room, which were decorated in the shelves. Though she had come to this room for the first time, even then she did not feel like that she has seen this room for the first time, because all the things belong to her. I found myself in the midst of things I did want to see again, but which oppressed me in the strange atmosphere. She said, though I had come to take back all these things, though I wanted all these things back in my home, but now here these things, when I saw in a strange way, put over there in the shelves, I did not like it. Okay, I felt oppressed, a kind of choking I felt when I saw all those things around me, which really I wanted back in my home, but not in this way, or because of the tasteless way everything was arranged. So, why she felt that oppression? She felt that kind of choking. Maybe the way these things had been put in the shelves in a very tasteless manner. Maybe these people did not know the, you know, beauty of these things. They did not know the value of these antiques, and that's why they just put all these things here and there only. So this way, maybe, or because of the ugly furniture or the muggy smell that hung there. Maybe the furniture was very ugly, and all these things, antiques, very costly antiques, they were not matching with the ugly furniture. Or maybe antiques were not matching with that bad smell, musty smell, moisture smell of the moisture. Okay, I don't know. She said, I don't know. But I literally did not like my things over there. But I scarcely dared to look around me. She said, I never wanted to now look around me. I knew all these things are belonging to us only. The girl moved a chair. I sat down and stared at the woolen tablecloth. Naturally, girl did not know anything. Okay, so she just offered her a chair, and this girl, the narrator now took the chair, and now suddenly she noticed the tablecloth, the table which was in front of that chair. So she now noticed the tablecloth. I followed. Okay, I rubbed it. My fingers grew warm from rubbing. I followed the lines of the pattern. Somewhere on the edge there would be a burn mark that had never been repaired. She touched the tablecloth. Okay, and she tried to now search for one burn mark in one of the corner, which was never repaired. So what does it show? It shows that even this tablecloth also belonged to her. Okay, so they had even started using tablecloths also. Okay, my mother will be back soon, said the girl. I have already made tea for her. Will you have a cup? Thank you. I looked up. The girl put cups ready on the tea table. Now she offered her tea. Now when the girl was, pouring the tea into the cup, okay, this narrator suddenly looked at the cup and we can say, kettle and everything. This tea set. Now she watched. She started looking at the tea set and started recognizing the tea set. Actually, tea set was also her tea set. Okay, the girl put cups ready on the tea table. She had a broad back, just like her mother. She poured tea from a white pot. All it had was a gold border on the lid. I remembered. She recognized that this tea set also belonged to them. And now she remembered that there was a gold border, which was now no more. Actually, it means they were using this tea set on everyday basis, and from the washing now the gold border had gone. Now there was just marks on the maybe gold border left back. Okay, nothing. So it means they were using even this tea set also, okay, all the day on everyday basis. She opened a box and took some spoons out. Then she went to the cutlery set. She opened the box just to mix the sugar. She took the spoon also, took out one spoon. That's a nice box. I heard my own voice. It was a strange voice, as though each sound was different in this room. Okay. This it was a nice box. Which box? That cutlery box. Oh, you know about them? She had turned around and brought me my tea. She laughed. My mother says it's antique. Actually, this narrator could not stop herself. She could not control herself. And when the girl took out the spoon from the cutlery set, it was silver cutlery set actually. And this cutlery set also belonged to her. And she just said, "Oh, it's nice box." And the girl, she felt very happy because this girl doesn't know that actually all these things belong to this guest only. So she felt very happy and she wanted to elaborate the talk on the cutlery set. Okay. And what she said, she says, my mother says it is antique. We have got lots more. She pointed round the room. See for yourself. And she says, not only this antique set we have many more things which are antique. And look around this room, all these things are antiques. Actually, this girl does not know that all these things actually belong to this guest only. I had no need to follow her hand. I knew which things she meant. I just looked at the still life over the tea table. As a child, I had fancied the apple on the pewter plate. Pewter plate means that grey metal plate, जिसको हम हिंदी में कांसा कहते हैं, कांसे की plate. Okay, so she did not look around. She was still, her eyes were fixed on that pewter plate. Why? Because there was an apple designed over here. And when she was a child, she had always liked that design of apple on that plate. We use it for everything, she said. Now, when the girl saw that this guest is looking at the plate, maybe liking the plate, so girl is very happy. She says, we use this plate for everything. Once we even ate off the plates hanging there on the wall. Then she pointed at the other plates. She said, once we ate our food in those plates. Okay, these are antique plates, but I always wanted to have, my food in those antique plates. I just wanted to feel what it feels when we have our food in the antique plates. So she said, once we had it, but it wasn't anything special. But she said, truly speaking, I did not feel anything special, when I ate my food in those antiques. But my mother always says, these are antiques. I had found a burn mark on the tablecloth. Now, while listening to this girl, this narrator was still maybe searching for the burn mark, and now she had found that burn mark. So it means it was confirmed that this tablecloth also belonged to her. The girl looked questioningly at me. Why questioningly? Because even maybe the girl also might have noticed that the guest is looking at the burn mark. And that's why she looked at her. That's why she's now looking at the burn mark. Yes, I said. Okay. Yes, you get. Now, actually, what she was saying that, once we ate our food, I ate my food in those plates also, but it was not special. And now she answered for that. She said, yes. Sometime it happens that you get so used to touching all these lovely things in the house, you hardly look at them anymore. She says, yes, this happens. When you are using the things on everyday basis, these things do not remain special anymore. Okay. You get to know or you realize the importance when the things are missing, when something is missing, because it has to be repaired or because you have lent it. For example, this is what she just said, that sometime you have given it to somebody for a few days and now you feel you miss those things, then only you know the importance of all those things. Again, I heard the unnatural sound of my voice. When she said this thing, she felt that as if this is something unnatural. Maybe she was feeling very painful to see all these things being used over there. Okay. And I went on. I remember my mother once asked me if I would help her polish the silver. It was a very long time ago, and I was probably bored that day, or perhaps I had to stay at home because I was ill. Now, this narrator is talking about one of her own experiences, that she says one day I was at home, very, very long, period ago, many years ago. I was one day at home. I do not now remember why I was at home. Maybe I was ill or something. I was at home and my mother had asked me to help her in polishing the silver cutlery set. And she said, as she had never asked me before, I asked her which silver she meant, and she replied, surprised, that it was the spoons, forks, and knives, of course. She said actually she had asked me for the first time for this kind of help. That's why narrator said at that time I asked my mother which things you are talking about, which silver things you want to repolish. And my mother said, oh my god, what has happened? All these spoons and forks and etc. we are using on every day. You never noticed this is silver. Of course, that was the strange thing. I didn't know the cutlery we ate of every day was silver. She said, yes, it was really strange thing, but it was true that though we were using this silver cutlery set every day, but I had never realized that this was silver. Actually, she was trying to answer this girl that yes, this happens. When we are using certain things on everyday basis, maybe we do not realize its importance. The girl laughed again. I bet you don't know it is either. I looked intently at her. And now the narrator said, this thing, though I also got to know when I had to help my mother, and I can bet even you also do not know the importance of all these things. You also do not know what things you are having. What we eat with? She asked. She asked that you are talking about this thing. These plates and these forks and knives. You are talking about these things that I also do not know which metal it is. Well, do you know? She asked. Okay. She says, okay, you tell me. Really, you do you know this metal? Okay, or these all plates and everything which you are using? She hesitated. This girl, naturally, she also didn't know exactly what kind of metal it is. She hesitated. She walked to the sideboard and wanted to open a drawer. I will look. It's in here. She said, okay, but I will, right now I will see. Okay, really, maybe I do not know what metal, but I will check. Okay. And she went towards that area where they had kept their cutlery. I jumped up. When the girls went towards the cutlery, okay, this narrator got up. I jumped up. I was forgetting the time. I must catch my train. She just got up. She said, sorry, I think I'm getting late. I have to catch the train. I'm going. She had her hand on the drawer. Don't you want to wait for my mother? This girl was about to open the drawer to take out the cutlery box and to see what metal it is. Okay, when the narrator started going outside, and from there only she asked, but you wanted to wait for my mother? Won't you wait for my mother? No, I must go. I walked to the door. The girl put the drawer open. I can find my own way. Okay, and from there only she said, you remain there. I can find my own way. I can go out. Okay, no need to come with me. As I walked down the passage, I heard the jingling of spoons and forks. When she was in the passage, she could hear that this little girl, she was maybe, she was trying to now look at and trying to know what metal it was which they were using on everyday basis of that cutlery set. She could, hear the jingling, the sound of those forks and spoons. But now, this narrator was out of the house. Now she had decided that she does not want anything from this house now. At the corner of the road, I looked up at the nameplate, Marconi Street. It said, I had been at number 46. The address was correct, but now I didn't want to remember it anymore. I wouldn't go back there because the objects that are linked in your memory with the familiar life of former times instantly lose their value when severed from them. Severed means when cut off. Now she looked at the address, but now she had decided that she's not going to come back to take those things. Because now actually she realized that when the things are away from you, when the things are cut away from you, sometimes they lose its value. Okay. Earlier she was thinking that maybe these things would be giving her this feeling that yes, mother is present in her house with her. But now, when she had seen that these people are already using these things, maybe that mother's memory is no more linked to those things. So that's why she decided now that she won't take back all these things. When freed from them, you see them again in strange surroundings. And what should I have done with them in a small rented room where the shreds of blackout paper still hung along the windows, and no more than a handful of cutlery fitted in the narrow table drawer? Actually, this is how she convinced herself. maybe to some extent still, maybe in one corner her mind, she was thinking that, can I take it back? But then she convinced herself, no, no, there is no place in the house. This is a small house. There is no that much, these many shelves are not there now in this new house. Okay, earlier it was a big house, that's why they were having all these things. Now she decides, no, it's better the things should remain there only. And because now these things are no more linked to her mother, because these things are being used by somebody else, I resolved to forget the address of all the things I had to forget. That would be the easiest. Okay, so now she decided to forget this address. Okay, of all the things I had to forget, that would be the easiest. This is very, one important question is why she decides not to take back all those things. Then last line is very important. She said that it is the easiest thing to forget the address from of all the other things. What can be the other things? Actually, other things: happy time spent with mother, golden days, okay, with mother, mother's presence, memory of mother. All these things are not very easy to forget. But she said address is very easy to forget. So she resolved that she would forget this address now. So I hope now you have understood through these two videos, you have understood this chapter. Okay, when you are listening to the videos, go through the chapter along with it. Your book should be opened. Okay, so that when you are listening to me, okay, watching this video, okay, you should look at the lines also. Your pen should also be in your hand so that you can underline. And I hope you would be preparing now these chapters very honestly. Thank you.